Indiana waived Grace Berger and Victoria Saxton. So all the moves are important and they need to be talked about when we talk about this conversation. And I want to move this into just specifically talking about the Indiana Fever.
Mhm.
Man, the moves that they have made, you have talked about it a little bit, but the moves that they had
Girl.
made, actually catch us up on that.
Listen, as promised, the Indiana Fever are playing no games because Dewana Bonner is now part of that squad. And when I say squad with a capital S because that is exactly what they are. Now, before we get into how she's going to fit alongside Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, "I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now. And I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well." And then she continued talking about Steph, their new head coach, and said that Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think, is going to be really great. A great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college. Oh, that girl still can't make a left-handed layup. We gonna be working on that. Love that. That's funny actually. But I mean, we talked about the Fever and we talked about them on the live show. And one of the things that we both agree with is how they kind of superseded everyone's expectations, right? We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're going to make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we're capitalizing on this and we're doing it now. And they stayed true to that. Outside of, breaking ground soon, I believe, on their new facility, they are giving their star, Caitlin Clark, all the pieces she needs to be successful. And you have to clap for that because this is what you do when you have superstar talent. You build a superstar team. And this is what the Indiana Fever have done. I mean, how do you feel about this? I'm
I feel
gonna say
amazing.
like Dallas Mavericks. Facts. You see what I see? You see? You see? Mm,
We will listen, that's a whole nother conversation,
different
okay? A
show.
whole nother conversation. But what Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my
Mm,
opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results. Like they were so close. Well, they made the postseason, I should say, for the first time in a long time. But this is going to catapult them to what
mhm.
I see as being in the finals, if not winning the whole thing. If you look at the moves that
Ooh,
they, yeah, I
big
mean,
take.
no, and I really truly believe that when you look at the scope. Now, there have been some major moves on other teams, and I'm not negating that. I
Yes.
hope they surprise me. Like I said, I want the fans and the WNBA to be the winner of all of this because I want to see competitive games on every level every night. I mean, we see that, but on a much higher level than we've ever seen before, right? But man, when you look at who they picked up, I mean, Dewana Bonner, are you
Mm,
kidding me?
mhm,
She is amazing on every single level. Howard, like the way that they play is very conducive with the way that Caitlin, plays as well. I believe it was Candace Parker that said you have shooters on shooters on shooters. Like, who do you even defend in this case? And
yeah.
not to mention the defensive presence that they are bringing. Man, Sophie Cunningham, she's been wanting to play with Caitlin. We saw the clip of her kind of bringing her aside at one of these games. Was it All Star or something
Yes,
along those
I believe
lines?
it was All-Star. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and trying to get her to come to Phoenix. So Phoenix, so it's like all of these players are so geeked to play together. They have been selected by Coach White and she knows them. She knows that they'll have good chemistry together. And I can't wait to see what happens because I mean, you saw how geeked Caitlin Clark was already. I mean, she's calling her coach Steph. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
And
mean,
I guess
Yo, that is funny. I didn't even pick that up. Like she was at the Iowa. Like Coach Steph is crazy when you think about it. That's Coach Stephanie White. Nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, and that's what you want. You want your point guard to be comfortable. You want her to have that great chemistry with your coach. And at the same time, being the head coach, you want to hold your young point guard accountable. And then at the same time, as stated, front office, Cox, you guys are Kelly and Coach White, you guys are making the right moves by putting the pieces in place for Caitlin Clark. That's like if you have um, a young star in whoever on football, you get the pieces around them to make them great. Okay, everybody seems to have a problem with it. All of it. What the Indiana Fever were not supposed to take part in the 2025 WNBA free agency, or am I missing something? Because you guys are making it seem like Atlanta Dream aren't building a team. Um, Dallas Wings haven't built a team. The Sparks, the Mercury. You're making it seem like pieces have not been, So I'm just a little confused and why only it's the rift of like it's only the Fever building a team. This is what the front office is supposed to do. Maybe you should take a look at the front office for your organization and be like, ask them a question like, hey, why aren't you guys making any trades? Why aren't you guys signing anybody for free agency? And maybe they'll have an answer for you. But I think they're doing a great job. I think they're doing a great job. Based off interviews I've heard, Natasha Howard will be ready to play. And she's going to make sure she's in the best shape to be running up and down the floor as she is a rim runner. And she's going to be that anchor of the defense. And then you got DeWanna Bonner, who I guarantee you is going to have a great season. She's in Coach White's system. She's got the chemistry, as stated again. And this team is going to have trust. They're going to play for one another, and they all know, hey, we're here to win a championship. We're here to play. We're not backing down to nobody. I believe in you. I believe in you. I could take a look at our starting five and then our bench five and like, hey, we're ready. We're ready to go. So all egos must be left out. All previous situations must be left at the door when you enter the Indiana Fever organization. And I'm sure Coach Stephanie White, Cox, and Kelly have addressed all situations that needed to have been addressed. I'm sure of it. You will not come into this organization and pull a fast one. Coach White demands excellence. This is going to be a great team. But I don't want them stirring the drama as in, oh, it's a perfect team for Caitlin Clark. No, it's not. They still got to go out and be professional and go play and play hard. And Coach White has to lead this team to a championship. She has to be a great coach, has to have great sets, great plays, has to have trust in the locker room, has to have her team in her hand, has to have hold of her team. And she has to have the respect from the players, which I'm sure they're all going to respect her and want to play hard for Coach White and this Fever organization and fan base who will be going crazy for them. So, DeWanna Bonner is a huge pickup. Huge pickup for the Indiana Fever. Yes, I know they've had a situation in the past, but hey, I'm not living in the past. I think DeWanna Bonner is a professional and she understands the situation and what her purpose is coming over here with the Indiana Fever. So let's continue. I think there's a couple more minutes and we'll get up.
it just
right. There's that familiarity there, and I think that makes all the difference.
yes.
And you're especially when you're talking about a young team, right? Because there's a different learning curve with a young team versus a team that has mostly vets. There's a little bit more patience that has to be required. There's less experience. Um, there's more of a learning curve that you have to. There's more grace that you also have to give. So I think that there already being a familiarity there, especially between Caitlyn and Stephanie, is huge. And I just think that Stephanie also knows what she is in for with this Fever team. A lot of the times, I think sometimes coaches take jobs and have like a romanticized version of that team. And sometimes that team, most of the time, that team fails to meet those expectations. And I think a lot of times front offices sometimes think that coaches will come in and have a romanticized idea of what the coaches are going to be able to do with a particular team. And I think what makes the Fever such a well run organization is that they know what they're capable of, but they also know that this is a young team that still has to learn. And I feel like their expectations aren't more than what this Fever team and Stephanie White can accomplish in this upcoming season. And that's such a rare combination because as we've seen the coaching carousel go around in a plethora of different sports, it's very rare to have your front office and your coach on the same page. It just makes it so much easier when you're trying to coach a young team.
Absolutely, and that's why I think the Indiana Fever will be that number one team this year in years to come. Like I keep saying, the Indiana Fever are now the new Lakers of the WNBA. You have a great front office, you got a great GM, you have a great head coach, you have the best point guard in the league, and you have just an amazing, amazing lineup of great talent all around the board. All around the board. I mean, dude, you can spread this ball so everywhere on the court. I mean, it's going to be a problem for the defense. Whoever they have to play, they know that when they, especially going into Cambridge, shit, Caitlin Clark was a problem by herself. Now we're going to have to guard her straight up one-on-one because you can't leave Bonner by herself. You can't leave Kelsey Mitchell by herself. You can't leave Natasha by herself. You can't leave AB. You can't leave you got to guard now. Good luck with the double teams with the Indiana Fever young team who you guys are trying to trap and all those turnovers at the beginning of the year. Good luck. Guarantee that stops. Good luck. You got Caitlin Clark 2.0 on the way. Good luck. Good luck. Caitlin Clark's going to average 13 assists this year. 13 assists. No problem. Indiana Fever going to the playoffs. Then they're going to win that. Then they're going to advance. Then they're going to win a championship this year. If the Indiana Fever don't get caught into the negative talk and all this around the league, which I don't think they're going to, they're going to the championship. You bet it. You bet it. They're putting belt to ass. I'm out of here.